Okay, I'm here again today with Sandy, and she is going to show us how to crochet the cutest little Thanksgiving turkey. Hello, Sandy.
Hi, Robin. Okay, I keep getting asked for 3D projects, so I found actually a friend of mine asked for a turkey. They provided the pattern, I figured it out, and it's real easy to make. So I'm not going to make a lot of it because he is tiny. He's only about 4 inches tall. But I'm going to show you how to do the stitches first that are required. And then I'll show you the parts. Everything is individual. And then you just basically sew the pieces together. Okay, so we're going to start. Obviously, I'm using a different color yarn. I do have to put my glasses on. And Robin will come down to my hands so you can see what we're doing. Obviously, I'm using a different type of yarn. Now, there's 2 ways to start these. Each one of these little pieces starts with a point. Now, you can either do crochet 2 and then start your single crochets in the second from the hook, which is what the pattern calls for, or you can start it with a magic loop. Now, I like the magic ring because it tightens up better, so I'm going to show you how to do that again. Basically what you do is you lay the yarn across your hand, you're going to hang on to it, you're going to cross it over, bring it back around and catch it. So you'll have 2 parallel lines on your fingers. You're going to put your crochet hook with the hook down under the first one. You're going to pull that through gently, twisting the handle away from you so that you get it wrapped around. And you might have to separate this again. Then you're going to catch the hook underneath, the same one you just twisted around, and then you're going to pull that through. Now, I find it very helpful to grab a hold of this as you pull it through, and what you end up with is a loop on your crochet hook, and it's got a little tail. If you grab a hold of this part of the loop, you can tighten up the knot a little bit by just giving it a gentle tug, and then this little piece, you pull this and it makes the loop smaller, and then you can start your single crochets in it. And all of these start, this whole pattern is single crochets and increasing or decreasing. There's no fancy stitches in it at all. So basically from that point, we're going to take and grab a hold of the yarn here and we're going to just do single crochets inside this hoop, and most of them start with, I think, 10. So you're just going to put it in, single crochets, just grab it and pull it through 2. Grab the yarn, pull it through 2. I'll do a couple more and then I'll show you how you can tighten this up after you get the single crochets on. Oops. The yarn is fuzzy, it's fuzzing everywhere. Go through 2. And we'll do one more because I don't need a whole lot, and then I'll pull that through. So basically you've got your single crochets on the ring now, and then all you have to do to tighten this up so it's real tight is just to pull this tail, and it pulls it real tight, and then you work around. Now if you want to start it the way the pattern says, I'm going to pull this out, you can actually do it the way they recommend. And we got a little knot in there, so I'm going to take this off because I don't want to catch that. The actual pattern says to chain 2, which you can also do. Now the reason that I don't care for it as much is because you can't ever hardly get it tight enough. So we chain 2, and then it's going to tell you to put your single crochets in the second loop from the hook. So you would start building your single crochets in here. And remember, this yarn is way bigger than what you would be using to make the turkey. And I'll do one more, and then I'll show you. The only reason I don't like this as much is there's no way to tighten up this little hole that you end up with because you're going in a chain. So if you practice the magic circle or the magic ring, it makes it a little bit better looking on each of these points, and there are a lot of them. Okay, the only other thing that we're going to have in here is we're going to have increases and decreases. So we're going to take a break, and I'm going to chain and do some single crochets just back and forth, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, all I did was a flat piece, and these are just single crochets. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to increase. It's pretty simple, and if you forget, you can always pick up a video or watch this one over again. But I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to turn, and I'm going to put a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Okay, now to increase, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a single crochet, and then I'm going to go in that same hole and put another one. So essentially what you're doing is you're just doing one and then two, and then one single, and then put two in the next one. And we're going to go across this, and then in the next row I'm going to show you how to decrease. And then two in the next. And pretty much the pattern has you do single crochets, like maybe one, and then in the next stitch do two, and then the next row will have you do like two single crochets in a row, and then increase in the third one. So if you just follow that, it's not really too difficult. But increasing is basically just doing a second single crochet in the same space that you did one. So this time we're going to chain one, we're going to turn, and I'm going to do a single crochet here. Now to decrease, what you want to do is you're going to put your hook through the next stitch and pull up a loop. Then you're going to stick your hook in the next one and pull up a loop. So you'll have 3 loops on your hook. You're just going to catch it and pull it through all 3. So we're going to do another single crochet, just one, to keep it a little bit evener so it doesn't bunch up real bad. To decrease, once again, you stick it in the next stitch, pull up a loop. Stick it in the next stitch, pull up a loop, and that's how you decrease. So we're going to go to the end of this, we'll do a single, and then you're going to stick it in, pull up a loop, stick it in, pull up a loop, pull it through all 3. And some of the rows do have you do 2 decreases in a row. So we just decrease there, same thing. Just stick it in the next one, pull it up a loop, stick it in the next one, pull up a loop, pull it through all 3. And I'm going to stick one in the last one here. Now when you get done with the decreasing, I'm going to give myself a little yarn. You'll see how these tops are a little bit larger. Let me stick the hoop through there so you can see. They're a little bit longer because you've actually pulled 2 single crochets together. But it's simple. If you're increasing, you're just going to put 2 singles in the top of one stitch. If you're decreasing, you're going to put it through a loop, pull up a thing, put it through the next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull it through all 3. Okay, like I say, we're not going to do all of the stitching. What I did was I made all the parts so you could see what they look like. This is the turkey's body, and maybe Robin can zoom down here so you can see. This is his beak. This is a tail feather. Now the tail feathers are actually 2 pieces. You have to make one a little bit larger, and it does tell you how to do it. And then the colored one is a little bit smaller. And then all you're going to do with that, and I did on here, you're going to end up with the tail over here and leave yourself a long tail here to sew this, onto the turkey. And then all I did was take the short tail, weave it in, and cut it off. And I did the same thing with the colored part. I just tucked it on the back side. And I attached my needle, a yarn needle, a knitting, whatever you use for your knitting or crocheting. And then all you're going to do is take this tail and go into the top of a stitch over here to put this together. Pull it through, and I'll get it to lay down. And then you're just going to go back and forth. You're going to pick up the top of a stitch, and then you're going to come over here to this side and pick up the top of a stitch. And you just go back and forth. And you don't have to do every stitch. You can do every other, however you're comfortable putting your stuff together. But you grab one on this side, you grab one on that side, and you just go back and forth. Now you will end up with, on the back side, you will see, where you went through. And if you look at the little turkey, you can see the stitches, but that's just cute. The golden kind of hides itself. Oh, and I didn't bring his feet. You do make 2 feet, so you'll have the feathers. This is a wing. You don't stuff this part at all. Those just go there. And then you have 2 little wattles, which go underneath his beak. The eyes, the pattern says you can buy eyes, like hard ones, and sew them on before you finish making this. Since it's a soft craft, I just prefer to put yarn eyes on mine. So that's what I did. All right, I hope you enjoyed this pattern. Robin's gonna send the video out along with the instructions. I did find one error in the pattern. When you're making these wings, you end up with 26 stitches. I mean, this part is like the beginning. Let me pick a lighter color. This part is like 2 rounds of this size wing. And you end up with 26 stitches, and when you get to the next, you're going to single crochet in 5. No, you're going to slip stitch in 5, I think single crochet in 7, then you're going to do 2 in a stitch, 1 in a stitch, and 2 in a stitch. But it didn't add up, so when I got to the top, I only had 2 stitches left, so I put 3 in one and 2 in the other. So like I say, I like crocheting because you can hide any error any way you want. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this project. Robin says the next thing we're going to look for is a snowman. Okay, hope to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.